And we should be underway. This is going to be a new link for people, so people are not going to understand what's happening right now. Alrighty, what's going on, people? We are now live yet again for the second time. The first time I had to fix something, so I think now when people come in here, you should have all your sound back. I just Googled basically what to do. But yeah, so we should be all good to go. Dealing with a new mic, dealing with new lights. And the mic was coming through just one side of people's things. It was on stereo. It had to be switched to mono, apparently, is what the internet just told me. Does not make sense that that's the case. What's going on, Austin? How you doing? Austin, does things sound good to you? Does the volume sound good? Audio on both headphones now. There we go. So interesting. Somebody in the chat said change it from mono to stereo. It was actually on stereo, had to be changed to mono. Did not know where that was, so I had to Google it. And while I was Googling it, I was just like, instead of doing this, we're just going to start the whole thing over. So what's up, everybody? Ladies, gentlemen, fellas. We are going to delete that other one. So some people will probably watch that for the next half hour. But we just went live for a couple minutes, had some technical difficulties, but we are all good to go. What's going on, everybody? I'm going to do a whole spiel again. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Maybe we can get to the goal. We need like 50 more subscribers by tomorrow. Maybe we can get to the goal. Let me know if the sound is all good. Everything sounds smooth, sounds great, sounds good. Hey, if you need it to be louder, let me know. I can turn the knob. We got everything set up now. One man band, no sweat, made it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Figured instead of just trying to do the whole thing live on fixing that, take it off live for a couple, 2-3 minutes. So I can Google stuff and sit there and not have to have you guys just watch a blank screen. But what's up, everybody? Yeah, we are back right now. And you can see that some of the 5 o'clock games are going to be on here. These are basically for all 7 of the games today. But I'm going to answer any questions if you're not already familiar. Going to answer any questions that you have. Projections, rankings are all updated and will be updated if anything happens during this stream for the 6:30 slate. Yes, the slate starts at 6:30 tonight if you're playing on SuperDraft. It is the 4-game slate, 7 p.m. start. The presenting sponsor of the show. Got the Nike Polo from SuperDraft. Guys are heavy hitters. Head honchos out there sending some merch over. So you go over there if you have any questions on SuperDraft. People in the chat, I'm sure, will be able to tell you how good that site is in terms of winning money, how good it is in terms of your bankroll. So be sure to check out SuperDraft. My name is Sal. You've got a free money bonus up to $1,000 in a slow drip. But we can talk about any projections you have, any interest, questions for SuperDraft, and also DraftKings, of course. Did not play the 2-game slate myself. A lot of value opening up on that 2-game slate, though. Kind of wish I did if you were around to take advantage of it. At 5 p.m., I think that Chicago game starts. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Any questions that you might have today, I'm going to, on my end right now, I'm going to take out, good to see you, the sound sounds good, awesome. Do you like Baines tonight? Yeah, I do. So on my end, I'm going to end up taking out, let's do this. I'm going to take out all the games from the 2 o'clock slate, or the 3 o'clock slate, that is. So I don't have the time slots on my side. Actually, yes, I do, and the target offense sheet. I'm going to take those out, and then I'll answer any questions that you have. So Indy, Cleveland, and Washington, Chicago are not going to be on this made slate, sadly, which those teams are making up so much of the value on this slate, which is just very sad to see. Very sad to see that those teams aren't going to be on the slate, because you're getting like pay up options, whether it's Westbrook and all those options, and so much value now from Chicago. So I'm going to answer any questions that you guys may have today, and we'll go from there. Just making sure everything's all good here on my end. Should be all good to go. Cool. If I do that, I think we're going to lose these lights, but that's okay. All right. You have any decent plays under 4K today? Somebody asks me. Yeah, I think that there's going to be a decent amount of good plays under 4K that you can probably reference to. So, I mean, here, let's pull this up right now. So under 4K, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for guards, like Michael Carter-Williams looks like a really strong option now at the guard position. Michael Carter-Williams pops off because they don't have any Terrence Ross, and I suspect even if he doesn't start, obviously we want him to start, but even if he doesn't start, you're going to get a good amount of usage out of Michael Carter-Williams there. So, I mean, that's where a lot of the value comes from, just in terms of the minutes increasing for Michael Carter-Williams. He also has a very sneaky revenge narrative tonight against his former team, the 76ers. So he looks fine. Let's see. Also below that, I mean, I have these other 2 games mixed in right now. So let me just finally delete the Chicago stuff and this Washington stuff. So Chicago and Cleveland, or Chicago and Washington, we can get out of here. Get those guys out of here so we can just start filtering and looking at the overall top plays tonight. So Washington and Chicago, they gone. And then we're going to get the Cleveland game out of here. And that'll make it a lot easier to file through this slate. Alrighty, cool. Bear with me here. And then Cleveland and Indy, they gone too. All right, so now I could actually filter this to pull up the top plays when I want to pull up the top plays, instead of having to be like, which guys are playing at 2 o'clock, right? So filter this now by overall value ranks, and bam. Top value on the slate for me is going to be I believe it's going to be Michael Carter-Williams. Yeah, Michael Carter-Williams at his very cheap price point tonight is going to grade out as a very good value. So he's going to look good. Any interest in O'Neal? No, not for me. Zion point total projection. Yeah, so right now I have Zion projected for 40.72 points. I have him projected for like a half a point. Not even a half a point, honestly. Like 0.3 points less than at this point, which you're going to be getting out of his teammate Brandon Ingram. So he's going to look good. Obviously, he looks fine on his own. I think the ceiling on Brandon Ingram is higher just from an assist percentage if you're trying to get like a triple-double. The amount of times that guys get to 45 or 50, probably Zion. The amount of times that guys get to 55 or 60, probably Brandon Ingram there is where I would go. Why do you like, who do you like in the guard position and the utility position? Well, the utility position, you can put any single person there. So, I mean, it really depends on what the whole rest of your lineup is. If you're paying up for studs, if we can get enough value to have a slate where we can just go, okay, yeah, that utility position is looking really good. Let's get both Harden and Embiid in there. Yeah, I feel okay doing that. But guard position, I mean, if you're looking for value, Michael Carter-Williams is okay. He's not lock value, but he's $3,600, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, he's yet to let anybody down this year. The worst that he's done for you is like putting up a 40 burger, which, I mean, when he's $7,800 and $8,000, that's like basically fine, right? He's not killing your lineups. But yeah, SGA looks fantastic. He's going to continue to look fantastic. He's going to be a $9,000 to $9,500 player pretty damn soon, right? This is a guy who right now is averaging 1.25 fantasy points per minute, and that's going to go up. That's going to go up to like 1.3, maybe even 1.35, depending on how efficient he can actually be as a player. So the amount of rebounds, his assist percentage right now, but all those things, the amount of rebounds he's going to have, it is really going to just, I mean, there's nobody else on this team right now. There's nobody else who can ball handle. There's nobody else like, I mean, you're having Dort out there and you're having Baisley as like his other shooters on this team. You're getting George Hill out there, sure, but really more so off the bench. So there's not much else out there for SGA to really have to not even struggle with, but deal with. Outside of that, like the pay-up guard options, it really is SGA for me. I do think John Wall is interesting to get to. Michael Carter-Williams, small forward eligible, is nice too. Yeah, you can put him in like 5 spots in your lineup. Cole Anthony for you today? No. But if you want to leverage off of what likely is going to be Michael Carter-Williams picking up ownership today, you can go there. But Cole Anthony, not for me. Hey, Sal, any limits with the Bulls now with all these value guys opening up? Yeah, John, so I assume you're playing the 2-game slate unless another slate has all those guys in it. Yeah, there's definitely limits that you can start to put in there. So I do think that when it comes to Chicago, you are fine to get, because so many of those guys are so cheap, you're fine to be getting yourselves, you can get both of Thad Young and Otto Porter. I probably wouldn't get more than 2 of like those wings though. So you can throw the rookie into there, right? The guards are fine, like Zach LaVine and Kobe White, I'm fine getting together. But I probably want no more than 4. On a 2-game slate, you can get up to 5. But if you're playing on a bigger slate, no more than 4 in a lineup. But those wings are what I would limit to like at most 2. So wings and power forward / Otto Porter, Thad Young, the rookie, right? Those types of guys. And any of the backups, right? Like if you're trying to get Gafford as well as Carter, I would really only want to get one of those in there. Texting Nick BDG right now real quick. Had a question about the mic. Think I got it. It was in stereo, not mono. Damn. Cool. Who's your favorite spend-up option tonight? Yeah, so I mean, if you're just looking for pure point projection, so this is the thing with the spend-up options tonight. Can you find the value? My answer to the favorite spend-up is who are your spend-up options, right? Because there's really none. There's 2 guys that are $10,000 or above. There's only 3 guys at $9,000 or above, and I have no interest in Ben Simmons tonight. So if we're talking about guys that I like at, let's just say, I mean, it's Embiid and then Harden for me. My goal and my interest would be to get to both of them if we could find enough value tonight on a 5-game slate, because they're by far the 2 best spend-up options in my opinion. But after that, spending up, if you're talking about the 8K range, my favorite play at 8K or above is SGA tonight. And then in that category above the 8K range, you're going to be having Vooch, Embiid, Harden. So I would probably go, in my interest, 8K and above, considering those are spend ups. SGA, Embiid, and then Vooch and Harden are basically pretty similar to me. Do you stack in the NBA? I don't. You can stack. The purpose of stacking, especially on smaller slates, is to try and capture the overtime game. Happens 6% of the time, but there's no correlation in the NBA, right? There's not that much correlation, at least. There really isn't any. Everybody's negatively correlated. It's not like the NFL where a quarterback is paired up with his players. It's not like stacking in other sports where there's such limited scoring opportunities, like in baseball and like in NHL. That's why you stack up a team. You stack up a team because it's such limited scoring opportunities, so you're trying to capture up which team they come from, so you have to get less right. If a team in baseball scores 7 runs in a game, that's a lot of runs for a baseball game. So if you're stacking up that team, you're probably capturing a lot of that scoring opportunity. But I would not be stacking in the NBA unless you think the game goes to overtime, and the purpose there is to accumulate more minutes for your players. Don't ever underestimate Big Dort. Yeah, I don't. Aiden donating another $10 skis. Thank you, man. He says, how do you feel about a quad of Embiid, Haliburton, Wall, and Cousins? Yeah, I probably wouldn't end up going to that. My issue with that is just how fringy I think some of those guys are. Like, you have to keep in mind, like, Cousins isn't going to start tonight. That's what you have to keep in mind. Cousins is going to be a backup on this team as long as Christian Wood is healthy, right? So you have to keep that in mind, that Cousins is going to play 20 minutes. And then Burton is going to play probably somewhere around that same amount of time in terms of limited minutes. I have him for 21.5 fantasy points. He's a shooting guard / point guard, so it's tough. Small forward potentially in some lineups. So yeah, it's tough to want to get there. I would only want one of those two guys between Cousins and Halliburton if you're playing just one lineup, right? Obviously, if you're playing a ton of lineups, then sure, if they end up in one of your lineups. But like if you're using that as your main lineup, I wouldn't be going there. Minutes for Knox tonight. Let's see what we got Knox at. I've got Mr. Knox at 20 minutes of play. Does not make him look like all that good of a play to me, personally. Are you scared of playing Horford at all? No, I'm not actually. What's going on, Joseph? How you doing? I'm not scared of playing Horford. I think Horford's fine tonight. I don't prioritize Horford tonight. It's not like he stands out as anything crazy. Where does he pop up for me? Horford pops up as like a borderline top 25 play tonight. No, that's not right. I have this factored by teams. Let's factor this right now by overall interests and upside. So yeah, Horford grades out as a fine option. Nothing crazy. He's kind of like right in the middle of the pack, like a borderline like 15, 16 overall play for me. You feel fine getting to both SGA and George Hill tonight. Yeah, George Hill is cheap enough that obviously George Hill he's going to play alongside SGA. Like if Hill's playing 25 minutes and SGA's playing 36, obviously there's only 48 minutes in a game. They'll play alongside of each other for 5 to 10 minutes. So that helps, of course. They're not just direct replacements. So it's not like SGA's 36 minutes only leads to 12 George Hill minutes. No. They play alongside of each other for half of Hill's minutes. So, and Hill, the other big caveat is that Hill is relatively, very cheap actually. SGA is relatively cheap in my opinion for his value at that price point, but Hill is definitely cheap. So that's what's going to help there. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. Hey Sal, any limits? Okay, so we answered that one. Bacon only 3.3K. Do you like him? Yes, I do think Bacon is an interesting value. They like him a lot too. I only have him projected for 18 points, but of course, like you said, he's 3.3K, so he grades that as a top 5 value on the 5-game slate. I think he's in play, yeah. I think that he's a decent pivot off of Michael Carter-Williams. He has been playing really well. They want to give him more minutes. They're saying great things about Dwayne Bacon, the former player out of Charlotte, the Hornets. So, yeah, I think Bacon's fine. Obviously, I like Michael Carter-Williams better for a little bit better position. He'll be handling the ball a little bit more, right? More assist percentage there. Bacon is more so just a shooter, can get some rebounds for you, and not a great shooter at that either. Let's look at Bacon's rate so far this year, though, because they are playing Bacon a good amount. So I'll pull up. I just pulled up Charlotte for Bacon. Let's pull up Orlando. Appreciate all the people in here right now. Any Steven Adams for you? Not right now. Not too much interest there. Any interest in 8 or full tonight? Mild interest in both. I think John Wall is a good start today. I do. I think John Wall is an interesting play today. He played very well in the preseason. This is not an injury. It's just COVID-related specifics that we don't even know if he had it or if it was just a close contact. Seems like how long he's been out that they all had it, but we don't really know. So getting back to Dwayne Bacon, averaging 0.74 fantasy points per minute. That's not great, but again, he's cheap. If you get 24 minutes out of him, 25, where I'm projecting him around today, doesn't look too bad. 13% usage rate on 79 minutes of play. But the big upside is more so to go to Michael Carter-Williams, who's averaging 0.81 fantasy points per minute, and you expect more minutes there. So obviously, it's worth the $300 more times than not, in my opinion. I'm playing a $12 single entry starting with SGA, Embiid, and Randall. Is Randall worth the money, or should I go somewhere else? I think tonight Randall's not worth the money. If you're playing one lineup, like you tell me it's a single entry, so I'm assuming that's just like your only lineup tonight. I would not think that Randall is worth the money tonight, no. And I don't. I think that Randall is a pretty overpriced player today. I think a lot of these Knicks are, whether it's RJ Barrett. Obviously, the way that Randall's playing, he could be fine, but I'm not going to project this guy to automatically become the second coming of Nikola Jokic in terms of how good of a triple-double and efficient shooter he is, right? I do think that he's better than people give him credit for. He's obviously taken steps forward, but still, I do not think Julius Randle had just suddenly became Nikola Jokic, and he's going to average 60-something fantasy points and triple-doubles every night. So when he comes back down to earth, it is going to hurt. So Randall, for me today, he doesn't grade out that well. He grades out as my 36th overall play for 42 fantasy points. If you're playing a single entry and you're concerned about the salary on Randall, that's a proper thing to be concerned about. I think that you're okay to get away from it. You definitely don't have to live there, that's for sure. Is Joe Ingles too cheap at 4,300? Seems kind of shaky, though. Yes, he is kind of shaky, though, because of where he plays. He does not have all that much more ball dominance in this offense. He used to play, I mean, he plays the pick and roll with Favors on the second unit. Favors getting older, right? Not really being there all that much at all now these days. And him just in general, not running as much pick and roll, it hurts Joe Ingles a lot more from having the ball in his hands. It opens up assist opportunities. It obviously opens up drives as well. So he's a nice rebounding player. He's going to grade out tonight as a very good value because of how cheap he is if you give him anywhere near his historical rates. But I am concerned a little bit about where his role is on this team. But again, he's fine. Like Joe Ingles and I project for 23.39 fantasy points. He grades out as a borderline, basically top 5 value. I'm going to delete this other live stream because I have people asking me why the live stream is so short, this other one. So we'll delete that one. I believe we have this one still good to go. So yeah, we'll delete that one so that one goes away. So yeah, if you were earlier, we were just dealing, some people asked me why we started so late. We were just dealing with some technical difficulties that are all solved now, or at least should be all solved now. So we're deleting that bad boy. Best center tonight, in your opinion? So the best overall center on the slate tonight, it's going to be interesting. It depends on what you're looking for. Embiid, points-wise, of course. But if you're looking for value tonight, I do think that between Aaron Baines and Mitchell Robinson, you're going to find your best value center. If you're asking me, factoring in the points upside, it's Embiid for me. But yeah, Aaron Baines and Mitchell Robinson. I think Robinson's minutes are more secure if we're just assuming like his role in this rotation on this team. But obviously with his foul trouble issues, that's a concern. Aaron Baines does have a pretty capable backup center in Toronto as well. So Aaron Baines and Mitch Robinson. I'd go Robinson for the value over Baines just barely. They look almost identical to me tonight. I have Mitch Robinson for more points. He's also $1,000 more. What's up, fellas? Let's get this money. Wood or Zion in cash? In cash, I would be going to Zion there. So how do you feel about Zion tonight? Easy double-double? Yeah, I think Zion looks really good. I think double-double makes a lot of sense. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, somebody said, not sure if you know, but your live stream cut out. Yes, sir. Evan, what's good, man? What's going on? Sal, what do you think about Danny Green starting? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, Danny Green starting doesn't really change much for me, right? I mean, kind of something minutes-wise that you expect to be the same in the 25 range. I'm trying to see if Danny Green has started already this year. Let's see. Just pulling up anything new from Fantasy Labs. Probably pull it up on my phone. How do you feel about Randall? I think he's overpriced tonight. I'm not going to be getting to too much Randall. I'm definitely not getting there in my single entry lineups. We were all over Randall the last 2 times out, and we were graced by 60-point performances because, I mean, we're seeing what other people are seeing right now, but now he's priced up. We're seeing that Julius Randle is basically the usage that he's getting on this team is 30+% assists, leading the team in rebounding rate, 20+% defensive rebounding rate, and insane usage rate in general. So this looks very good for him. Draymond Green projected to start tomorrow. All right, so we don't really have any other news to really touch on right now. Is Norman Powell a viable small forward punt? Norman Powell has been brutal this year. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean he's going to remain being brutal, but man, oh man, has Norman Powell been so bad or what? His big game was driving, and he hasn't been able to drive this year. It's a small sample, so it's really hard to be talking in absolutes about him. But I can't get to Norman Powell right now. There's some concerns with him right now. They're going to keep giving him opportunities, especially just based on what happened this offseason with him. I keep typing in players' names into Wowie. But yeah, Norman Powell is not something that I have any interest in getting to. I'm going to try and pull up his rate so far this season because they've not been good. Easily can turn around. Very small sample so far. Is SGA a Devontae Adams type lock tonight? So you're mistaken with Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, you play Aaron Rodgers tonight, of course. Is SGA Devontae Adams type lock tonight? He's a very inefficient shooter, so I would say no. Like, you can't rely on SGA to shoot 80% like he did last time, and he did it on lower volume. If he shot 10 more times, hopefully he goes 16 to 20, but I doubt it. He's an inefficient shooter, but you're going to get that when you're taking 20-plus shot attempts more times than not. You get there off of the volume. So can he bust tonight? Let's put it this way. If SGA does not get injured or does not get into foul trouble and the game does not blow out, which are all things that can definitely happen, this is why he's not a lock. This is like the NFL is not the same as the NBA. There's nights where $3,000 players that are centers or 3,500 that project out for 30 points look like absolutely smash plays, and you play them, right? And maybe you play 100% of them. I think the other night I can't remember who I had 100% of Karis LeVert 2 nights ago, right, when he goes for 60, because every single player on that team was out. Dinwiddie was out. He's done for, I think, the year, partial tear. Kyrie Irving sat, and so did Kevin Durant. So, yes, LeVert looked fantastic, slam dunk. There's no locks like that on tonight's slate. SGA would be very close to that for me, to be honest with you. But the problem with that is in the NBA, if you don't have value, if you're not trying to lock out value, and I think that day even Karis LeVert was relatively cheap in like the 6K range, like locking an $8,000 player, it ruins your lineup the second the game blows out. If a game blows out for a $5,000 player, but he gets you to your 25, 30 points, you're not dead in the water. Like, you'd at least still try and cash or finish decently highly. If there was a player to lock tonight, I would lock SGA as of right now, but I'm not going to. So no, he is not like a Devontae Adams, because other than football, like, there's rarely blowouts in football, and rarely do the wide receivers not come out for 25% of the game. It happens maybe once a year for a wide receiver, and that's like a lot if it happens once a year for them. In the NBA, it's already probably happened for every single one of these players so far this year. Let's get out of 35K, says Henry. I hope that. Yeah, hopefully. Henry Shapiro says, yeah, let's do it. I don't know how far we are away. I think we are currently like 60 away, so that'd be cool. The goal was to buy tomorrow, so it's really going to come pretty on close. Who's the player you are trying to get the most of tonight? Probably SGA, unless some value opens up, right? Keep in mind that we still have, I was going to say 2.5 hours, but we only have an hour 45. The slate starts at 6:30 tonight. But the answer for me would probably be SGA. I can play MWC and Bacon in the same lineup to be able to spend up elsewhere. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I think that they don't directly cap each other's ceilings from where they play on the court. They do to an extent, right? Wings to guards kind of. But I'm personally not going to do that on a 5-game slate. If it was a 2-game slate, 3-game slate, sure. On a 5-game slate, I think we'll have enough other value on other teams to get to. I would be choosing. I haven't set the rule yet. I'll set it after the stream, all my rules, or update my rules, I should say. But yeah, I'm not going to be trying to get Bacon and Michael Carter-Williams in one lineup. If you're playing 150, I think that's okay to get to. I would set a rule to not get two or more of those two, plus like a Fournier, plus a Markelle Fultz. Would you play Zion and Ingram in the same lineup? If you're playing one lineup, no. If you're playing a lot of lineups, I think it's fine. Those guys definitely both have 40 to 45 point upside each, and that can win you a GPP at their price points. Why do you like Knox tonight? I do not like Knox. Kevin Knox, you asked me why. Alice asks, nope, I do not like Kevin Knox tonight, so there's no Kevin Knox for me. So Kevin Knox is on the screen right now. He's projected for 20 minutes, but there's no liking there for me. So this is where my baseline projections start from, and then they go into a whole nother database, and I really start to crank down into rates and stuff like that. This is just basically for minutes. This page right here allows me to have minutes. So what you're seeing on the screen is just really minutes, point per minute production, the baseline at it, and then I adjust all that type of stuff, salary, super draft stuff, minutes per game, and usage so far this season. So if you have a question on a guy, I can scroll to them really quickly, which is nice about this. But no, nothing on the screen indicates if I like a guy or not. Sal, Mitrob or Horford? I'll go with Mitrob tonight. Could you remove the players from the early slate when it locks from the projections on Patreon? Yeah. They're already removed. I just have to upload that version. I removed it on my end. So yeah, you'll get those once the stream ends. We'll probably go to like 5:15 just because the stream got cut off a little bit shorter so we can get a little bit longer from the technical difficulties. We already have a good amount of concurrent viewers in here, which, I mean, for the stream cutting off, having a couple hundred people is pretty damn good. So appreciate you all. Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve. We'll probably stay live until right around 5 or so. Hey, Sal, who's your 2 favorite guards on Superdraft tonight? So SGA is definitely going to be one of them. He's by far projecting out as a top play on Superdraft, the top play on Superdraft tonight. Again, you can check that out. If you have any questions on Superdraft, just let me know. SGA and probably Harden. SGA and Harden. I do think that Buddy Hield's 1.65x multiplier is also pretty interesting, though. That could be somebody that goes really low owned. A couple hours for the 35K. Sal, have a great and safe New Year's. Thank you. You as well. Do you like Rashawn Holmes today? Yeah, I think he's a decent value. I prefer Marvin Bagley today, his teammate. And I hope they start playing Marvin Bagley more at the 5 and just don't play Hassan Whiteside a single minute and just cut Hassan Whiteside. Don't know what they're doing having him on that team. You're literally capping your upside of a top 5 Marvin Bagley pick. And a Rashawn Holmes who has been changed his game basically since leaving Philly. A lot better on both sides of the ball. Obviously, offensive side, more so for fantasy. But yeah, Marvin Bagley I prefer over Rashawn Holmes, but Rashawn Holmes is definitely still in play for me. I have Rashawn Holmes right now as a top 20 play tonight. Hoping for some damn minutes for Bagley tonight. Yeah, exactly, right? Don't play Whiteside. He only makes mistakes. He does nothing for you at all, and he's just trying to hunt blocks for whatever reason. Hey, Sal, in Superdraft, Harden at 1x or Barrett at 1.6x? Harden for me there. Good question. Embiid or Harden for the top money stud today. Do you think Wall affects Harden's points? He definitely affects them. He's better him out there than and also Eric Gordon being back in Ben McLemore still out, but all these guys coming back. It's better him out there than whoever they've been throwing out there alongside Harden at the guard position, right? So, yeah, obviously Wall coming back is going to affect Harden, but people are going to get this twisted. They're going to think that means Harden is not a good play. He is a good play. He is one of the only players on this slate that can have a 70 or 80 point ceiling tonight, right? There might only be 3 of them on this slate. There might only be 2 of them on this slate, to be honest with you, with him and Embiid. And I don't think that he projects out badly. I have Harden for over 55 points, or right around 55 points tonight. He's projecting out as a fine play. He's projecting out as good value at that price point. John Wall coming back. Westbrook on this team last year, Harden was dropping 55 and 60s pretty commonly. That gets you there today on a 5-game slate unless somebody else goes off. Wall coming into this offense, yeah, we don't know. It's an unknown. It could hurt him a lot more than Westbrook did, but I don't think it's really going to. Not really liking anything above 6K at small forward. Who am I missing? Yeah, 6K above small forward tonight. So I have this basically whatever positions that they give me. So above 6K, let me factor this by salary. I don't know if you're talking about FanDuel because I don't really play FanDuel. I also have this separated just by one single position. I don't think Buddy Hield, they still allow to be a small forward. Tobias Harris, do they still allow him to be a small forward? Let me just pull up DraftKings so I can actually get the exact positionality because I'm just giving it whatever position they play their most minutes at is what my model is basically pulling up for me as their exact position. So let me pull up right now DraftKings, and we can go from there. But yeah, I mean, last night it was shooting guard was pretty atrocious. You had to last night or 2 nights ago. I think it was 2 nights ago. You had to like force in. No, actually, it might have been last night. You had to like force in D'Angelo Russell 2 nights ago, I think. All right. I can't trust Mitrob. I got to find a way to get up to Gobert. Yeah, Gobert's fine. I mean, Gobert's definitely safer than Mitrob. The reason that Mitrob is such a good play is because he's a GBP play. He is somebody that, I mean, the second Randall starts to cool off, those extra rebounds that Randall's getting right now are going to be going to Mitrob. I don't know why since getting these lights, I have to run through the Wi-Fi. I think I'm just going to return them because they like slow every other thing down. I can't even use my third screen right now. I have 3 screens, but I'm trying to run everything off my laptop, and this laptop is working the absolute hardest right now to just stay alive. This poor laptop. I'm gonna have to just get a computer and work off of a computer because this laptop is trying the absolute hardest right now to just stay alive and keep us in play and not lag us all out. The absolute worst. Does ownership matter in Superdraft as much as it does in DraftKings? Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. Obviously, if you know that one guy, like a Harden, because he's priced up and people know his name, is going to be owned at a 75% clip, well, then, yeah, going to Buddy Hield makes a lot of sense if he's going to be 10% owned. So ownership matters a lot. The problem with Superdraft ownership is we don't have enough data, really. Like DraftKings, you have historical data back for years and years and years to really understand what people are going to be doing. Superdraft, we have a year of data, right? If that, right around a year of data, maybe a tiny bit more than that. But we also had the pandemic shut them down for a bunch of months, so there's no data coming in there. So it's really tough to make ownership projections for something you have no historical data for, have very little sentiment ratings from the industry, right? That's part of ownership projections as well. So yeah, Sally, downloaded Superdraft today, finally, and I'm playing tonight. Very cool setup and have SGA lock. Looks fun. We will see. Hey, there you go. Yeah, as long as SGA doesn't get hurt or foul trouble or the game doesn't blow out, if he plays his normal run and the game stays close, 34, 35 minutes out of SGA, maybe 36. How many minutes is Bagley projected for today? I gave him 28 minutes, but there's no reason that he can't play 30. I actually might have given him 29. Let's see. I might have given him 29 and split the difference there. I gave Bagley 28 minutes. No reason he can't play 30, though, as long as they keep him on the court. Buddy Hield is shooting guard small forward. Yeah, so he looks okay. That one, dude, tonight, Sal. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you like Mike Conley tonight? I do not. I think he's okay. I don't think there's anything, like, he's just meh. He kind of just is there. So Mike Conley tonight for Utah is going to be projected for 31.8 fantasy points, so he's not going to be somebody that I really get to it all that much. Sally, you got me paid last night. $100 payout on a dollar single entry. Also Hall of Fame member. Appreciate you. Hey, nice. Shout out to you. Hall of Fame member. Round of applause. Damn. $1 into a $100. That's a crazy ROI. Horton or Fultz tonight. Last game to utility spot. I'll go with Horton, I keep saying. I'll go with Horton. Here's the who. Horford, here's the who. I'll go with Horford. Hey, Sal, Cousins or Gobert on Superdraft tonight? Yeah, it's going to be Gobert. So a lot of people are going to be maybe excited to play Cousins tonight. Let me actually pull up Cousins on Superdraft at least just to make sure there's like a crazy multiplier that's going to get him above Gobert for me. So, yeah, it's going to be Gobert for me on Superdraft. Cousins isn't even – I don't even think he's anywhere close. Yeah, Cousins isn't really anywhere close for me on Superdraft tonight. Where is Cousins on Superdraft? Let me pull this up. So the issue with Cousins is people are going to like think his Cousins coming back as if he's like this guy was about to play 30 minutes out there. Yeah, Cousins looks really bad on Superdraft. 1.4x multiplier. He has a multiplier as if he's starting, but that's not going to be the case. I mean, I would project Cousins on a really good night tonight to play 20 minutes. And that's if he sees a lot of minutes, right? So I don't really know how we expect a lot more out of him. That's a concern. Cam Johnson for him, the Suns a good play tonight? Not really. I really like Cam Johnson. I think the upside is there, but the minutes for him to get there is a little bit tough. Like 22 minutes of play out of Cam Johnson. Sure, he could be really efficient, but it's really tough to get there. Lonzo and Barrett are going to boom on Superdraft today. So Lonzo for me on Superdraft looks very meh. He only has a 1.55x multiplier. Looks okay. What was the other one? Barrett looks good. Yeah, I think Barrett looks good on Superdraft more so than Lonzo. Is Randall still a good play on Superdraft? The 1.25x multiplier. So yeah, Randall not as much as a play on DraftKings for me, but more so a play on Superdraft for sure. That multiplier is a little bit too low. Like the way that he's priced on DraftKings on this type of a slate, you would think he would have like a 1.1x multiplier, maybe 1.15x, but he has a 1.25x on Superdraft. That's going to be a lot of upside. Thoughts on PJ Tucker? No interest, especially with all these other dudes coming back. No interest. Doesn't really change much for his role. He just sits in the corner anyways. Do you like Muscala tonight? I mean, he might not even play 10 minutes, so no. Muscala is not in play because Horford is back. Thoughts on John Wall? I do think John Wall is nice. I think that he's underpriced. I thought John Wall was going to be at least $7,500. My guess would have been like $7,600 to $7,800 for John Wall tonight, and he's $7,100. So the way I have him projected, yeah, he looks like a really nice value in that upper mid, lower expensive range, if that's a place to describe it. Aaron Gordon is a good play. Not if he's playing 26 minutes tonight on a limit. Like Payton if Burks sits. Yeah, if Burks sits, I like him. I'm currently projecting Burks in, but I actually think that Burks probably has a Maybe even a much more likely chance to miss tonight, but I'll just change if it changes. The language that the Knicks used was that Burks was going to miss some time. He missed one game. If some time only means one game, then it's a weird way to kind of describe that. But also the way that they were talking was like right after the game, so you never know how he's really going to feel the next day. Thoughts on Eric Gordon? Yeah, I can't get to Eric Gordon. The issue with Eric Gordon is he's just never going to have time to himself. Like, John Wall being out there is still going to be a ball-dominant guard, not to the same extent as Westbrook, but it's tough to want to get to him when you're not going to get much usage rate out of Eric Gordon. Where is Eric Gordon even on my sheet? 22.7 points, not even projecting out for 4x value. Would you limit Carter Jr. With Fultz? Michael Carter Jr. I was trying to say, like, Wendell Carter. That game's about to start. What you doing, bae? You got 5 minutes, boy. Michael Carter Jr. with Fultz? No, I wouldn't. I think I can get 2 of those guys. I don't want a third, though. The reason why is because Michael Carter is so cheap. So Michael Carter at his price point, you don't want him to just get you 20, but if he only gets you 22, Fultz can still go for 34. He doesn't have to do a lot, Michael Carter, so it doesn't have to automatically affect his teammates. Now, if Michael Carter was $4,400, then I'd be like, yeah, I can't get both of them. He needs to do too much. He needs to get me 30 to really win a GPP at that point. Any limitations on how many players you get from one game? Not generally speaking, but I have rules in place. I have groups set up to not get a certain amount of players, a certain amount of wings, not to get both centers from a team, things like that. Unless the center is like 3K flat. But even then, Fox usage looks much more than anyone else on Sacramento. Is Fox usage much more than anybody else in Sacramento? Yes. Yeah. De'Aaron Fox is definitely underpriced today. He is somebody that should be picking up ownership. I'm going to pull up right now. I thought he was picking up ownership last time that I looked. But we can pull up the exact usage rate and stuff like that for Fox. But it's good. He's been playing well all season long. I think there was like the one game that he struggled. It might have even been a blowout that really got him pulled out of it. But we can pull that up. He's coming off of 2 really nice back-to-back games. So, yeah, Fox is probably going to pick up ownership today. I don't think it's going to be massive, but it's going to be on a 5-game slate. Everybody picks up ownership. So he'll probably be in a lump sum of a bunch of guys at like 18% owned. Michael Carter, with a lack of value, you can assume is going to be owned today. Shea Gilchrist, because of how damn good he looks at just $8,100, is going to be owned today. And then you'll probably find some other guys going to be owned, whether it's Brandon Ingram, Zion, some other guys. People just love playing Zion. Sal, any interest in Fred VanVleet? He should score more than 8 points today. Yeah, he's had a slow start to the season. I actually like Fred VanVleet from a single entry standpoint because slow start to the season, still playing massive minutes. That rotation is very tight. They paid him to do exactly what he's done the last couple of years. Like, highest contract ever for an undrafted player. So I think that Fred VanVleet's fine. Usage rate of 27% for Fox is basically the same as Bagley on that team, and then there's nobody else really that close that has a decent-sized sample. But yeah, Fred VanVleet's been struggling this year. I expect that to turn around. These are the types of situations where you can buy low on Fred VanVleet. The only concern with that is, like, we can scroll down to Fred VanVleet, the minutes I haven't projected out today. The only concern is he's not totally priced down. $7,200 is... It's like appropriate for a normal Fred VanVleet game. Maybe like he should be 76 if he's actually performing well, but you're not getting all that much of a discount on Fred VanVleet right now. 20% usage rate, 28% assist percentage. I'm just shooting poorly. 46% effective field goal rate. For comparison, OG's at 63%. Kyle Lowry's at 52%. What we got? 300 people in here. Can't smash the like button? Yeah, hit the like button. What we got? We got 350 people in here. Not bad for, I'm sure, other shows are going on. Obviously, it being a holiday and this show getting derailed in the first 20 minutes due to having to start it over. Does Boucher see more time than Baines? I'm not projecting that, no. Thoughts on Mitrop? I like Mitrop in GPPs. I'm going to continue to like him because he's continuing to play well. He's continuing to stay out of foul trouble. They want to give him bigger minutes, 28 to 30 if he can stay out of foul trouble in a close game. And the second Julius Randle stops rebounding the ball 15 times a game, and Mitrop is getting 3 or 4 more of those, Mitrop is going to really start to smash these price points in the terms of 35 fantasy points. He's averaging 3.5 blocks a game already this year. You know how good he is just in general from blocks. If you don't, he's maybe the best probably blocks big man in the league. I would say that he is. Obviously, Sam Whiteside's still in the league. You have some other guys still around, but Mitrop is just an absolute monster. Mitrop is probably one of my 5 favorite players in the league. I'm trying not to be biased when I talk about him, but I'm not. I'm talking about exactly what he's doing this year. Everything he's doing is playing really well. He has a teammate that is going absolutely berserk right now, setting up, just a historical start to the season, last 2 games for Randall, especially for himself, personal best without a doubt. Mitrop is going to start to see a lot more upside, like a 17% defensive rebounding rate. Once Randall's drops from his 21% a little bit down and Mitrop's around that 20% number, it's going to start to look real good. John Wall or Barrett on Superdraft for you today? Let's see. Barrett is up there. I think Wall is going to be a little bit better. On Superdraft today, it's pretty close. I would actually go to Barrett there. Would you rather play Fox or Gobert? Fox. I like Fox there. I think there's less competition on his team for him. And also, I think his assist percentage is a higher upside than Gobert's defensive rebounding rate. Flyer on Reddick, not for me. Thoughts on Ingles today? Looks like okay value. Shaky value, nowhere near a lock value because of the position he plays. If he was a center or point guard, feel better about that. He's not. He's going to be playing, maybe he'll handle the ball for like 5 minutes in the game, but he's going to be playing small forward a lot of the time, shooting guard. So shaky value for sure, but he's cheap enough that he looks decent to good. Danny Green or Michael Carter? Michael Carter. We get a $5 super chat from Aiden. Again, he says, how do you feel about going Fox, Shea, Wall? They all play point guard only on DraftKings. Yeah, I like all of them. I like Shea, I like Fox, and I think Wall is going to be lower owned than he should be today. Obviously, things can go to shit, but he looked really good in the preseason, and I think he's going to be fine. Now, Wall being lower owned than he should be, he still might be 20% owned, but on a 5-game slate, at that price point for Wall, like after today's game, people might be saying, how is he not $8,500, right? Yes, Harden is still in this team, but Russell Westbrook, I think Russell Westbrook is better than Wall right now. I don't think it's by all that much, to be honest with you, especially the little bit of a reassurance we got in the preseason and camp reports, whatever, all that stuff. But John Wall, even if he's not Russell Westbrook, Westbrook was priced continuously in the $9K range, $9,500 last year. Like, John Wall is going to be an $8,000 player at some point this year, assuming that he just did not forget how to play basketball. So $7,100 is $1,000. I thought he was going to be $7,800 at the cheapest, and he's well below that. Do you have Halliburton in your player pool? No, I don't. I mean, I have him in my projections and stuff like that. He's projected out for points, but I'm not going to get there. Favorite sub $5,000 power forward tonight? Let's see. I'm going to name off power forward / center potential players. I think Bane's just center only. Mitch Rob's only center. Zion is above that. Yeah, so there's not a lot of guys below that range. A lot of the good power forward options are pay-up options today. Like, they're all above 7K. I don't think Dort's a power forward. He's 5,100 anyways. Will Harden get 70 to 80 points tonight? That's in his range of outcomes. It's in his ceiling, but my answer would be no to that. Yeah, man, there's not a lot of good power forwards below $5,000 tonight. I'm be honest with you. Like, Joe Ingles, does he still classify out as a power forward? Dwayne Bacon, does he still classify out as a power forward on DraftKings? The reason I'm asking you is I don't have DraftKings pulled up. And if I pull it up, the loading system on DraftKings, it has to check your location. These lights are taking up so much of my bandwidth, so I don't want to mess that up. Might have to return these lights. I got these key light airs. They're really nice, but I don't need that much lights if it's going to take up internet connection. Favorite shooting guard value? Thanks, man. Yeah, Michael Carter Williams. I mean, the best shooting guard value on the slate is probably Shea, if you want to just put him in the guard slot. But Michael Carter Williams. Let's pull up. Fuck it. Let's just pull up DraftKings and see what happens. I could also probably just do this. Yeah, that'll work. Pull this up, and bam, we can go to the actual salary sheet on my Google Drive. Thanks for helping me win big money, says Skylar. Hey, it's all you, man. It's all you. Fultz thoughts. I think he looks decent, but I think his recent play is going to make people more encouraged to play him, which is fine, but a little bit too encouraged is what I would say. Alrighty, let's do this now. Let's filter this shit by... Alrighty, so I'm going to filter this by position. Will Embiid most likely smash today? Yeah, if he gets his minutes, I think so. Especially if we're going to get these bigger minutes, 2 games of 35-plus minutes out of Embiid to start the season. You're used to seeing Embiid getting basically pulled at 30 or 32 to start seasons, but I don't know if it's shape that he's in. I don't know if they're just trying to experiment with him on the court more, closer games, small sample. But if you're going to get anywhere near 34, 35 minutes a game out of Embiid this year, instead of like the 32 you were getting last year, seems like a small difference for a lot of people, but those extra 4 to 5 points a game really do matter when you're priced at 10K. Him scoring 60 instead of 55 is a big difference for him to be in a winning lineup instead of a Harden. Good plays on center on Superdraft. Embiid's a fine option on Superdraft. I want to say Baines was up there, but let's pull it up. Mitch Rob is definitely up there. So yeah, Superdraft center options. Horford is going to be up there. Gobert. Embiid looks okay. But I probably more so Horford's 1.65x multiplier and Gobert's at 1.3, so those look really good. Buddy Hield, a good play on Superdraft tonight. Buddy Hield is probably going to be more of an option for me on... Pull up Buddy Hield right now. Buddy Hield, yeah, he's going to be more of an option for me on Superdraft. He looks pretty good. He projects out. He's a nice multiplier, 1.65x for over 53 fantasy points. Hey, Sal, best 3 plays 4K and below. I'd go Aaron Rodgers 3 times there. Thoughts on playing Aaron Rodgers at center? Love it. Perfect timing for that question. Yes. Thoughts on Clarkson today? I'm not going to get to Clarkson. He's not going to continue to play at a 1.2 fantasy point per minute rate or 1.3 that he's starting at. He's a fantasy point per minute producer at best. So I'm not going to get there. He's like a fringe guy to get into your lineups, but there's so many of those guys who look a little bit better than him, especially at 4,800. Stanley Johnson, 3,200? No. Happy New Year, and thank you for all your help in 2020. Same to you. Well, not the help, but Happy New Year to you. Just got back, and the sound is banging. Your boy's ears too. What does that mean, Mr. England? What you talking about? Banging your both the ears. Nice. Thanks. Yeah. We got that fixed. We got this new Shure mic. The whole setup for this thing was like $1,000. This, you got to plug it into a cloud lifter. Got to plug it into an interface, back into the computer. It's just so much. This laptop is literally going to blow up. It's got a webcam plugged into it, 2 screens. This microphone with so much other stuff. Crazy. But yeah, I think it's an interesting slate. Only one guy at 11, 10, and 9K apiece. Only one guy at each of those. The 8K range, in my opinion, looks very appealing. The 6 and 7K range looks strong. So yeah, like you can go balanced. You can start you can start at SGA and feel good about your lineup, right? And go really balanced in that 6 to 8K range, and not even have to worry about Michael Carter-Williams if he scores 22 points for you tonight. I think there's 2 ways to approach this slate. I think you either play both Harden and if you're playing one lineup, you either play both Harden and Embiid, and you do hope that Michael Carter-Williams goes for 30 and let that pay off for you by getting up to both studs, or you go pretty damn balanced and just stick in that 6 to 8K range and just start your lineup with SGA and get a John Wall in there and go off for a Gobert or whatever center that you feel comfortable with, a Mitch Rob for a little bit more. Mitch Rob is going to win 4 to 6 slates if he plays this same minutes that he's been playing and stays out of foul trouble like he has been. He's going to win 4 to 6 slates this year with 50-point performances. And I'm going to keep rostering that man until he does it. How much love for Vooch tonight, Sal? I like Vooch in that 8K range because there's not a lot of guys up there. Like if you're just looking, if you have $9,000 left, he's probably your best option. But I prefer Rudy Gobert in terms of value on him. He actually got a little bit more of a bump because Terrence Ross is such a shooter and somebody who will take up usage rate. So that actually helps him. Terrence Ross being out actually helps Vooch a little bit. Nothing major. It's like a half a point difference in usage rates and rebounding rate and stuff like that. I have Vooch as a pretty quality play, 45 fantasy points. At his price point of 8,700 is pretty good. Best value played tonight. So top value, who's going to be owned is Michael Carter-Williams. I think you can get away from it. If Michael Carter-Williams joins the starting rotation, I feel a little bit more comfortable about him seeing mid to upper 20s in minutes. But they have a lot of guys. They like Dwayne Bacon. They can give him minutes. They can obviously give the rookie a little bit more minutes, Cole. So if Michael Carter-Williams on this slate is going to be pushing 40% ownership, I can get away from that. I definitely can. Now he can pick up rebounds, assists. He can pick up a lot of different ways to get you there. So that's the nice thing about him. He doesn't have to score 20 points. He can score 10 points and easily get you to 20 to 25 fantasy points. I do think he's the best play on the slate at the value position, not factoring in ownership. Like if you're playing cash, sure, get Michael Carter-Williams in your lineup, assuming that he starts. Even if he doesn't, he could still push enough minutes off the bench into the mid 20s. But yeah, there's not that much great value on the slate tonight. Like I think that the value is honestly pay-up options. Like Joe Ingles, sure, but the position that he plays at, not the greatest. Dwayne Bacon, sure, but same thing for Michael Carter-Williams. You're going to need some sort of efficiency, probably out of Bacon, less so out of Michael Carter-Williams. $5,300 Marvin Bagley. If we're looking at secure value, that's like, say, 6K and below, I think your best option is probably Marvin Bagley. Are you playing Hassan Whiteside or Nerlens Noel? No. I'm in the camp that Hassan Whiteside might not play more than 10 minutes a night, more so than he's in a winning lineup. Baisley on Superdraft has a nice multiplier. I'll let you know what I have him projected for in Superdraft. Baisley on Superdraft, what's his multiplier at? Baisley multiplier 1.75x. I have him projected for like 45.5 points. He's not really anything I'd look at. Zion Williamson, he good? Yeah, Zion is very good. Probably overrated for all the hype that he got, but that's not to say that he's not good. He is already in the league a top 5 driver of the basketball. There might not be 3 players in the NBA right now for this young kid that can stop him when he goes to the hoop. That is a talent. His ability to cut underneath the basket is a talent because of that driving ability. But he has to develop some sort of a jump shot. Otherwise, spacing can become an issue for him on this team. Right now, he has some shooters on the team. Brandon Ingram, right? If anything ever happens with Eric Bledsoe, if he starts to shoot again, Lonzo, to a lesser extent, more so a driver and also a passive point guard, which is a good thing for this team, I think. But he has to become a shooter, Zion, if he really wants to take a next step forward, like LeBron, right? LeBron was able to develop a three-point shot, and he worked on that a ton. Because if you're going to have spacing issues with a guy who's not really a center, he's more of this power forward type of a player. I mean, people are trying to comp him to Julius Randle, but you need some sort of spacing around that. And if he can develop a shot, it helps a lot more with the spacing. Sal, Alex on interest? No. Thoughts on Tobias Harris for DK? I think he's in this range where he's a little bit too expensive for me. I would go to John Wall, but he's going to be low owned enough that you can get there. But that's the issue with Tobias Harris. Like, I'm going to have some, but I might even be above the field, but it's not going to be anything crazy. If you're playing like 1 to 5 lineups, I don't really want to need Tobias Harris tonight. I like Tobias Harris. I think that he's actually appropriately priced, but the problem with being appropriately priced is he has to have a good shooting night. So if you play Tobias Harris tonight, you're flipping a coin. Does he make that extra 2 shots, right? Is he shooting tonight 6 of 15 or is he shooting 9 of 15? That's it. There's not much more to break down for Tobias Harris's game in terms of his matchup. You know what you're going to get out of his usage, his rates. Does he knock down a couple of extra shots? You're flipping a coin. That's the type of guys, right? When they're not really going to be playing as close to the basket and they have to play next to Joel Embiid a lot more this year because no Horford. And we saw what happened to Horford last year when he was there. Absolutely tanked his point per minute production to like below 1. But yeah, Tobias Harris, does he make a couple extra shots? Those guys I usually don't want to have in my lineups that I have a lot of leverage on. Who's your most owned player and least owned star? Happy New Year to you. Least owned star is going to be Ben Simmons. Most owned player is probably going to be Shea in terms of like payups until we get some value to open up. Fournier, a good single entry guy. Got a little bit better with no Terrence Ross. So yeah, he's okay. Not a priority though. All right, I'm going to bounce in like 5 minutes. If you got any final questions, make sure to get them in. If you're going to roll with Fournier to have an efficient night and stay out there as a shooter more without Ross playing, who would be a sub 4K guy you can go to besides Michael Carter-Williams? So if you're going with Fournier, is what you're telling me, what other guys below 4K look decent tonight? I mean, his own team is Dwayne Bacon. Outside of that, not much. Like Derek Favors, I really don't want to get to. I don't have him for much minutes, but I mean, you're asking me who's below 4K. Like, that's the issue, right? I'd rather, right now, as the slate stands until we get more value, I wish Chicago was on the slate so we had more value. I'm not paying up for studs. I would like to get both Harden and Embiid, but as the slate stands, I can start my lineups with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and feel really good about a lineup that I can put together here, whether it's adding De'Aaron Fox in right after that, John Wall, and then going to 5K options, because you're asking me guys below 4K for obvious reasons. You want to pay up for Harden, you want to pay up for Embiid, one of those guys, two of those guys. You're forced to play Michael Carter-Williams, who's going to be chalk. So even if Michael Carter-Williams goes off for 26 points, sure, it helps you because you had him. It goes off, quote unquote, for 26, 30, let's say, at his price point. Sure, it helps you, but you're still not winning the slate because he's owned in 40% of the lineup. So this $100,000 person contest you're playing, he's in 40,000 of those lineups. So it really doesn't help you all that much. I think you have a better chance tonight at currently fading Michael Carter-Williams at his 35% on. That's why if you have the Patreon projections, he's not a yes. He is a maybe right now because, yes, he's obviously in play. He's not out of play. There's not that much value on the slate. But me personally, if you're playing a couple lineups, I would not be playing him. I think this slate stands right now better to fade the chalky cheap guy, which allows you to not probably get to Harden as of right now, or just pivot to Dwayne Bacon on his team, which again still looks like shit, relatively, right? And I would just be playing this slate a little bit more balanced. Like if you tell me your value tonight is Mitchell Robinson and Aaron Baines, and you're paying up for SGA and like a De'Aaron Fox instead of having to pay down for Michael Carter, that just sounds way better. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Quick before you go, Bacon, a good pivot off of Michael Carter-Williams. Yeah, he's a good pivot in terms of same team. Also projects out as a decent value, but if you're looking for straight points upside, you're not really going to get it with Bacon. Like, if he shoots insanely great and he gets a little bit more volume, like he's not going to be owned. He'll be like, I don't know, 6-7% on tonight. He's not going to be insanely owned, but you also need, like, if he shoots 8 times tonight, you're going to need him to make like 5 or 6 of those shots. And like I haven't projected out as a good play for 18 points. If he scores 18 points tonight, you're not winning anything. You need him to be above his good play. You probably need him to be 24 points. So he's a good pivot because he's going to be a third of the ownership, maybe even a quarter or a fifth of the ownership as his teammate. I like Michael Carter-Williams better than Bacon, though. I wouldn't do the pivot if you're wanting to look for value because Michael Carter-Williams, assuming that he gets the minutes, which I am assuming he's been getting them already, and now there's no Ross, he gets rebounds. He gets assists. He does a lot more than just what Dwayne Bacon is going to do out there, which is hope that he knocks down a couple 3-point shots. You have a lot more outs with Michael Carter-Williams. Of course, the ownership is up there, but I'm okay to eat that. Best player to build around tonight, I think SGA. Bridges, thoughts? Not for me. Embiid or Vooch tonight? If I had to pick one of them, I would go with Vooch just because of more of a balanced build. We need answers about Reggie Bullock, please. Why do we need answers about Reggie Bullock in terms of you wanting to play Reggie Bullock tonight? Is that the questions you're looking for? I have him projected for 15 fantasy points, so 0 interest. Reggie Bullock currently ranks out on a 5-game slate as my 79th overall play, so no. My player pool, I don't cut it off, but I assume that only 60 guys, 70 guys get into my player pool, so he's probably not getting in. What 2 of these 3 would you rather have? Fournier, Barnes, and Gordon. Barnes and Fournier. How do you limit lineups getting Ingles, Fultz, Bacon, and Burks from the same lineups? You set rules. You set groups in an optimizer. Or if you're just hand building, you just don't put them in there. I'd watch out about Burks. He's questionable. I don't know if news has come out in these last 15 minutes since I last checked. He's questionable tonight. I would just watch out about Burks if I was you. I think there's a pretty decent chance he sits tonight. I want under 4K guys because I have SGA, Fox, Zion, and Wood all in the same lineup, and I really want Fournier in there instead of MCW, Michael Carter-Williams. Not looking to play chalk Michael Carter-Williams. Yeah, that's your issue. You have Derek Favors tonight, you have Michael Carter-Williams, and you have Dwayne Bacon. There's really not any other guys below 4K that even look viable. And I think that potentially can open up. But right now, it's not looking that way. Like, I don't even have anybody else to really offer you. Nerlens Noel, like, you're looking at backup centers, right? Derek Favors, Nerlens Noel. Royce O'Neal is my 50th play overall, so I'd rather go to Dwayne Bacon. Then you start to get to Danny Green and Matt Thomas, who barely are projecting out for 15 points tonight. So, yeah. Not great. Great stuff as always, Sal. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks for the stream, Sal. See you next time. Good luck. Good luck to you as well. Appreciate it. No problem. John Wall, good singularity play? I think so. Yeah, so have a great rest of the day and great rest of your year, I guess. Yeah, best of luck. Thank you all for bearing with the technical difficulties to start. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Hit that like and subscribe. Also, yes, please do like and subscribe. We're like 50 away now. Only 50 from a 35,000 our goal by tomorrow. So, also, support Superdraft. Nice Nike polo we got here. Can't wait to golf again. Support Superdraft. Down below, my name's Sal. You get a nice bonus top Superdraft play today. And maybe top play on the overall slate is SGA for me on either site. Outside of that, you can check out down below my Patreon projections, rankings, all that type of stuff will be updated based on any news that comes out before the slate locks at 6:30 today. So an hour and 15 minutes. Keep that in mind as well. Just 6:30 today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Is Ben Simmons a good play? I will not have any. He'll be low owned, but I will not have any. What do you think about George Hill? I think he looks pretty good. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can tune into the beginning of the show. There should be no technical difficulties on this one. I deleted that old one. So yeah, we got the new mic. Hopefully everything sounds good. Let me know what you think of the new sound. The new Shure mic. Joe Rogan mic. This is the Michael Jackson mic. He recorded the Thriller on this if you do not know. Probably don't care though. I definitely don't. All right. Peace out, gang. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wealthy. All that stuff. Happy New Year. Peace.